I get dozens of questions in my DMs every single day, and one of the most frequent ones I get is how can I scale to $100,000 per month? A lot of people find themselves stuck at an inconsistent low 5 figures a month, getting $15,000 one month, $20,000 the next month, and then falling back down to something like $10,000 the month after. And they're never able to break the ceiling to get to $50K a month, let alone $100K a month. So in this video, I'm not only going to give you a step-by-step breakdown on how to break through these ceilings and scale to $100K a month, but also how to keep your revenue there as well. And if you don't know me yet, my name is Giulia Guerrieri, and all the lessons I teach on this channel are from the dozens of creators we've helped scale from 5 figures to even 6 and 7 figures a year, and also how I scaled my business to over $3 million. Now, first things first, if you have inconsistent income or your revenue is flatlined, it's usually because of an issue you're not aware of, but it's easy to fix. And this is because sometimes when you're stuck in the day-to-day of taking sales calls, answering student questions, or dealing with coaching and fulfillment, looking at your business from a high level falls on the back burner, which makes you blind to obvious solutions to grow your business. So here's a quick audit you can take of your business right now to diagnose where the bottleneck is and how to fix it. So there's 3 specific parts we're gonna focus on for this bottleneck analysis, and that is your offer, your funnel, and your platform. So first things first is you have to ask yourself, can my current offer scale to $1 million per year? So let me share with you a quick little backstory. In 2021 and 2022, I was doing what most online coaches do, which is live launch, create micro offers every single month, and anytime my program wouldn't sell, I would just trash it and build a new one. But what happened was you don't actually give your high ticket offer enough time to gain traction, which is going to be how you create a successful high ticket offer by actually giving it time and testing its metrics. So what I did was in the beginning of 2023, I slashed my entire product suite and I just created one signature high ticket offer that I knew I could get 10, 20, even 30 clients a month into if I wanted to. And if you've had your offer for a really long time and you're still not able to break past that revenue ceiling, you have to ask yourself, is this offer scalable? So for example, if you're a one-on-one coach and you're a really sought after one-on-one coach, you make $5,000 for every one-on-one offer you sell, you realize there's a cap to that and you can't keep trading your time for money. So what you need to do is you need to build a done with you high ticket offer. And what this means is that you're actually able to bring on more clients without you needing to spend more time with each and every one of them. So let me show you what that looks like. So there's 3 different types of offers you can have. Do it yourself, DIY, DWY, done with you, or DFY, done for you. DWY is the best model because you can continue to bring on clients at premium prices, but there's an element of do it yourself, like course modules and materials and implementation work. But then there's also one-on-one coaching calls and group coaching calls, but it's not entirely dependent on you trading your time for money. So for example, when I started scaling out my done with you high ticket offer, I actually built an entire coaching staff to do the coaching on my behalf, so I don't have to service every single client that comes in the door. So this is the major difference between a creator that makes $10K a month and a creator that makes $100,000 a month, because you've learned how to earn with your mind and not your time. And here's why high ticket is better than selling low ticket. Because the thing is, if you're selling something for $47 or $97 and your entire business depends on it, you need hundreds of clients every single month. And yeah, maybe you don't have to service them because you're selling DIY products, but your churn is extremely high. You're gonna have a really high refund rate, which is gonna make you an issue with your payment processors. And then people who buy low ticket stuff, the data shows us they don't get great results. So imagine what people are saying about these products and not getting results. Versus when you have a high ticket offer, you're now attracting premium clients that are actually going to do the work, implement, and then you could invite them on your YouTube channel, just like I do, and actually do breakdown case study testimonials showing how some of our clients make $40,000 to $200,000 in just 90 days selling high ticket offers. So if you're now wondering, how do I price my high ticket offer? A really good introductory price is $2,000. And more specifically, $19.97, because that price point just converts way better. Then once you get a few reps under your belt, maybe you get a few beta clients in the door, a good baseline price after that would be $3,000. That's actually where I sold my first high ticket course in 2021. I got 5 clients in it during my first launch of it. And then once you get more experience, testimonials, a fully fleshed out curriculum and process on how to get your clients results from step 1 to step 10, then a real good signature price for a high ticket offer is $4,800. $4,800 is the price point that got me to my first million. Now I sell packages even up to $48,000 just for 1 year. But I can do that because I've now helped hundreds of clients, proven my methodologies over and over and over again, and I'm actually able to bring on a coaching staff to help give a more premium experience to our high ticket paying clients. Now we have to look at your platform. So maybe you know me from my TikTok days. I was creating content 5-6 times a day in 2020, 2021, but maybe if you were paying attention a little bit earlier in this video, I told you 2023 was my year, my first $1 million year. And would you believe it if I told you I actually didn't post on TikTok that entire year? Maybe a few fun things here and there, but it was not a part of my strategy. I completely cut it out. That was the year I focused 100% on Instagram, because not only do you get more premium than TikTok clients on there, but I also focused 100% of my time and energy on one platform. And this is massive for many of our clients that come in the door, because I think we're often told this false belief that you have to be everywhere. But the truth is, if you don't have and can't afford a full-blown media team where you're able to pay them multiple six figures per year, it's actually just gonna be a massive distraction. So you're gonna wanna stick with just one platform until you get to 100K a month, and then you can expand beyond that. And the reason why I love Instagram is because it's a lot easier than paying for ads. So when you get organic traffic on Instagram, you can then convert them into your DMs, and that's where all of our sales happen, inside of the Instagram DMs. And even better yet, you can grow your email list with a tool like ManyChat, where someone comments a keyword on your video, they come into your DMs, and then you can have email marketing strategies, which is something we could definitely talk about in another video. So the next thing is that you actually have to start treating your content like a business. You can't just be creating to create anymore. So the metrics you want to look at when you're deciding if your content is performing or it's not is not just the views or the amount of followers you have, but actually the comments. Because the comments is the number of leads that you're generating per post. So if you have anywhere from 100 to even 500 leads per week, you can assume that 33% of those leads will convert either to an email subscriber or to actually what we consider an active conversation inside of the Instagram DMs that could eventually turn into a booked call for your high ticket offer. And this is the key difference when you're building an audience of buyers versus an audience of watchers. Because like I was telling you, when I was on TikTok, I had a ton of watchers and what I actually call super fans. But the problem was they didn't have the budget to invest in my high ticket offers, and they didn't take me seriously to pay me over $3,000. So that's when I shifted my strategy to not just focus on one platform, Instagram, but actually to start creating high value content that converts viewers into paying clients. And for example, one of my previous clients, Lisa, she had over 100,000 followers, but she was making sub 10K a month. And then once we showed her how to create content that actually generates high quality leads, she then scaled upwards of $30,000 a month. So now that you're generating content that doesn't just get views, but actually gets leads and people curious about what you have to offer, now you have to turn people who are what we call sidewalk leads into the fast lane and actually getting them to buy your high ticket products. So that's where we're going to start to talk about your funnel. Everybody's funnel is different, and I promise you it's not as scary of a word as you think. You just need a way to convert your content into sales. And that's where we start to build an audience, right? An audience of buyers. For example, our funnel that we run is we generate comments on the front end and through our Instagram stories. And then those pieces of content have CTAs that they will then turn into potential new buyers. So then we have a conversation in the DMs, we use a little bit of automation with ManyChat, and then our goal within the DMs is to book our leads onto a sales call. Now, the reason why I decided to do sales calls back in 2023 and stick to it religiously ever since is because it's the most measurable way to grow your business. A lot of online coaches try to poo-poo on sales calls and try to tell you that women shouldn't be doing sales calls and my funnel converts without sales calls. But what they're not telling you is that there's really low conversion rates on low ticket products, or on the other end of the token, these online coaches are spending 24/7 in their Instagram DMs trying to close deals. So even though it sounds great, what you have to realize is that the sale is happening somewhere. So it's all dependent where you want to focus your energy. Now, the reason why I also love sales calls is because you can then hire high ticket sales reps to take the calls on your behalf. So what's happening is if you're just voice noting your clients in the DMs and you're maybe having like low ticket funnels and automations, the automations have a really low conversion rate because people know it's robotic. And then if you're the coach in your DMs all day sending voice notes, that's 100% reliant on your time and energy to close the sale. So if your funnel isn't converting, here's what you have to ask yourself. Did I humanize any part of the process? So for example, if someone opts into our funnel saying, hey, I want a freebie, we'll maybe go in and send a video message that's pre-recorded. And it'll be something like this. Hey, it's Giulia. Thanks so much for checking out my free course funnel. I'd love to learn a little bit more about you. What inspired you to sign up? Now, this is so easy because it takes me 30 seconds to make a video like this one time, and I could drop it in the DMs, I could add it to a ManyChat automation, and it humanizes the process. The next part where a lot of our students inside the Creator to Cashflow Academy come to us is they say, well, my funnel's converting and I'm getting calls, but they're not showing up to the calls. So what we do is we have a 100% confirmation rate anytime that somebody books a call. So when somebody books a call, we actually send them a manual message like iMessage and say, hey Susie, thanks so much for booking a call. I'm so excited to meet you on this time. Can you confirm you have the Zoom link? And even though it just takes a little extra effort, it's going to convert for a higher show rate. So for example, we have a 90% show rate on organic traffic, and this is something that you want to aim for because remember, we're not doing any paid advertising, so the people who are coming to the call know who you are, and you want to make sure you have that human touch point with them. So hear me out. I used to be the kind of person that would just slap a funnel together, and I get it, right? Ready, fire, aim. But what I've come to realize over the years of doing this and multiple millions of dollars earned, every touch point of your funnel matters because these are real human beings going through your funnel. So we want to make sure that in the process, they're feeling respected, premium. Remember, if you want to command premium prices for your high ticket offers, you also have to deliver a high class experience. So now that we've gone over that, you're going to want to make sure that you go back and you look at your one offer, your one funnel, and your one platform. So most online coaches will tell you to perfect your funnel and track every metric. And even though that is important because what isn't measured isn't growing, we cannot forget about the most important part of the process as a whole. And that is your product and what I like to call your high class experience. Because listen, this content on this channel is going to make you amazing at marketing and sales, but it's my oath and my duty to also help you build an amazing product or service that gets your clients raving about what you do and gets you amazing testimonials. Because not only do you want to live up to the expectation that people are expecting from your marketing and your sales process, but most of the money in your business is going to be made through retention and customer lifetime value. So if they don't get an amazing result in the first 16 weeks or 6 months, how can you ever expect them to pay you again and want to keep working with you? So since we're using organic content to market and sell your products, what you're going to start to realize is that you have to focus on retention, lifetime value, and a way for people to continue to stay within your community time and time again. So we don't want to create, right, low ticket offers every single month because that one client then pays you $27 or $47, but they just paid you $5,000. So why not create a year-long experience that you could charge $12, $15, maybe even $16,000 for the year, right? $1,000 per month. And this is where perfecting your product becomes so important, because the old way of doing things in 2021 and 2022 was all about who has the best course modules. But now information is not what people are paying for. They're paying for community. So as you can see, I've rebranded my entire company to the Creator to Cash Flow community because we saw a massive shift in the marketplace away from just people buying for one person or the personal brand and people actually wanting to identify with a specific community online. Besides having a better product being ethical, because we all know those course creators that really get bad reputations because they have bad products, a better product leads to more testimonials, more referrals, and more lifetime value. And I think we'll have to talk about this in another video, but I actually used to have the problem where my clients would get such amazing results, they would be like, I'm complete, so I'm done working with you. Have you ever heard that one before? Well, what about if you could not just perfect your product, get an amazing result, but also make it sticky so that you are then the person to solve their next problem? And this is where we start developing out customer journeys, lifetime value, retention offers, ascension offers, and so much more. So now this is the final and the most important point. We talked about your offer, we talked about your funnel, we talked about your platform and perfecting your product. But the final point, the most important one, is your it factor. Listen, ladies, we all know the girls on Instagram that just give off that it girl energy. You trust them, you will pay them thousands and thousands of dollars every single year because they have that it factor. They could literally launch anything and you will buy it. So here's exactly how you are going to become that girl when it comes to creating a community and a presence online. So the first thing is you have to show your true personality. I struggle with this a lot as a creator in the beginning, where I felt like every time the camera turned on, I morphed into this different person. So what I want you to think about is every time you're creating content or you're talking to your community, you're just talking like you're sitting down in a coffee shop with somebody. This helped me so much create content that was more natural. So now every time I see people in person or I meet them for the first time, they're like, Giulia, you're exactly the same person that I saw online. Now, the second way is you could definitely use content frameworks that work. A big part of our process is research and development, but you have to start creating content that's unique to you. So, for example, something that I started to do a while back was I was like, I don't believe that quality means editing value. So I had really low produced videos. I would just slap them together. I would just post whatever. And that made me more human and really showed people that I'm not teaching people how to become perfect content creators. I'm teaching people how to create content to make money. And then another thing is you have to be really opinionated. So, for example, when I first started building my business as a female coach, I had a lot of male mentors. So I was just trying to do it like the boys, right? And then what I started to realize was that women were coming to me because of my unique approach on blending feminine and masculine energy in business. So most of the female online coaches were super woo-woo and had no structure. And then most of the male coaches were way too structured that it was scaring women away. So I told people like, hey, I love lifting weights and eating an animal-based diet and eating high protein. And maybe these things that on the outside might look more masculine. And I got really honest about you have to actually work hard. I wasn't creating content about passive income and these fallacies that I just don't believe are true. And that allowed me to really create a dynamic, authentic, and honest personal brand and attract other women that were serious about working hard and not people who just wanted to do nothing all day and make passive income. And this is the exact same thing that other female powerhouses in the space do. Like, for example, I love consuming content from Layla Hormozi because she's very honest about all the sacrifice required to build a $100 million company. But then when I keep seeing content about people going to the spa and making course sales, well, that's great. I believe that your business is not your passive income vehicle, and that's the facts. What your business can do for you is generate you high cash flow, right? Creator to cash flow, that's what my mission's all about. But then you use that cash flow to invest into assets that will generate you passive income. And that's where people get it wrong. So listen, don't go after this video to sit with ChatGPT and write down what is my it factor. Your personality is your moat. Nobody could be you even if they tried. So as you grow and develop as a personal brand and a creator, you have to continue leaning more and more into you because that's the only thing that's going to make you stand out. And finally, you just can't fake it anymore. You cannot fake your content, especially with the rise of video content. Everybody can see right through you and exactly who you are. And if you just try to copy other people, you are going to have less sales, more headaches, and more stress. So now that you've been following everything I'm saying to a T, the next thing you're going to face is about how to remove yourself from your business. So there's two paths I typically see when it comes to online course creators and online coaches. And that is taking the more solopreneur online coach route. And I would say that gets you to about $50K a month. But then after that, you need to start building a team. And for me, I had this really line in the sand moment where I was like, do I want to keep going and growing as a solopreneur? And listen, I really peaked out at those months. I had, $180,000 months with just one person on my team before. But after the $50K a month mark, I got really clear that I wanted to build and grow and develop a team so that I could learn how to multiply myself without doing more work. And this is where we want to talk about leverage. So going back to the first point of needing a really great high ticket offer, what we're going to have to start to realize is that you want to make sure that your offer is set up for you to remove yourself, because you never want to be the person where the entire business is just dependent on you. And this also plays into some other things, right? You want to build a community. You don't want people to just buy because of you, because then you're the sole driver of everything and there's no leverage. But you want to start asking yourself, where can I remove myself from my business? And if you're like me just a few years ago, I realized that there was nowhere in my business that I could remove myself. So it took me years to actually redevelop the business in a way where I could be removed. And even though it might sound kind of boring, I follow this one philosophy to hire people and really get more work to be done without me having to spend more time. And that is my demonstrate, document, and delegate philosophy. So first, right, you know how to do it because you've done it, so you demonstrate it, and then you can hire a VA or an operations manager, and you can demonstrate it in front of them. and then you document it into something called an SOP, a standard operating procedure, and then you delegate it. But I do want to set a really clear expectation that developing people takes the longest amount of time, but it's also one of the most fulfilling paths. I mean, I can't even imagine myself 5 years ago looking back and saying, now, wow, I literally employ people that make over 6 figures a year, when my goal at that time was just to even get $25,000 out of debt. So not only is it cool to remove yourself from your business and build leverage, but also provide opportunities for people to earn an income, work remote, work from anywhere, and be a part of a greater mission alongside you. And I get it. You don't want to give up your margin, and that is the beauty of running a solopreneur or a lifestyle business. But what starts to happen is you realize that you're on the road to burnout because the whole business runs around you. So what you can do is you could take your first small step, like I did, and hire commission-only sales reps. So for example, like a sales closer or an appointment setter. And that's a good stepping stone to start hiring your first people without there being any risk to you. So for example, if you sell a $5,000 high ticket course, you could give 10% commission to your sales closer, and they're only paid when you're paid. And now the final point to get to 100K a month and actually sustain it to continue to grow your business, $1 million a year, year over year. What you're going to need to do is actually start treating your little online coaching business like an online education company. I rarely go out in public and say, I'm an online coach. I say I own an online education company because I have a full team. I've built a culture, I've built a mission, I've built a brand, and we service hundreds of clients per year. And the way that you do this is you actually invest into building your company like a company. So one of the best books I've ever read to get me out of that lifestyle online coach info product mindset to actually being the owner and leader and CEO of an online education company is the book Traction. So that book teaches you how to develop an EOS, an entrepreneurial operating system. So the same way that you have an operating system on your phone, your business needs an operating system too. So you'll start doing things like quarterly planning or yearly lookbacks, annual planning, right? Actually doing project management and not just having ideas and putting them out in that instance. Because listen, ready, fire, aim mindset can get you to your first $1 million a year, but then you get to a point where you start to get stuck in your business because it's constantly being reactive and not proactive. And take it from me, someone who really ran my business from a reactive place for many years to now being so proactive that it's so boring, it's so mundane, but that's also what makes it so predictable and allows me to really do the things that I want to do and create new because I know the business runs systematically day in and day out. So this is probably the most in-depth video I've ever created, and I only plan to create more and more videos like this because this is the information I wish I had when I started. But it's just scratching the surface. We actually go really deep into these topics in my signature program, the Creator to Cashflow Academy. So if you want to learn more, just check the first link in the description and apply to see if the Creator to Cashflow Academy is for you. Since we are a more premium product, we only allow a certain number of students to join every month so that we can deliver on what I'm teaching you as well, a high class experience. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.